Hello, and welcome to I Hate Talking, a podcast about talking, including etymology, frustrating topics, current events, and other random subjects. I'm Adam.
And I'm Steph. We are married, and we invite you into these discussions with us as we talk about the good and the bad of talking.
We hope you enjoy today's episode. Welcome to episode 100 of I Hate Talking.
Hi, everyone.
So we got a few suggestions on our 100th episode. But I guess you have our word or phrase of the episode from one of those things.
Yes. All right. So I have the word, or it's more of a phrase. And I want you to guess what it is. Tempus fugit.
Tempest, fugit,
Fugit.
fugit,
Yes. Tempus fugit.
tempest, fugit. No, I have no idea. Is this another one of your phrases that's not English?
It is not English. It's true. It's Latin.
Like your que sera, sera.
Yes, I like.
You
foreign
apparently
languages.
like phrases or words that are not English, I
I
suppose.
guess.
I've never heard it, and I have no idea what it means.
All right, it's from the Latin. Translated, it means time flies, or literally, it means time flees.
Time flees. That would be interesting if you said that to somebody. Like
Time flees?
like if somebody says, it's been a long time since I've seen you, or some other phrase that indicates some passage of time, and you just responded with time flees.
Yeah, I think time flies, I just like nod, yep, of course. But time flees, I would definitely do a double take for a second.
Yeah, it's actually probably a more apt description of time.
Flees instead of flies.
I think so.
What's the difference? Well, now you can teach me what's the difference between fleas and flies.
Well, flies does not necessarily impart any particular nuance, in my opinion. It's sort of neutral. It's not positive. It's not negative. Time flies. It just is a statement of
quick.
fact. Yeah, it goes
I think
quickly.
That's the point. Like flies, like when you fly in an airplane, it's really fast.
That's true.
That's
But-
what I've always thought.
Yes. But I'd still say it's not really particularly positive or negative. Time flees sounds more negative to me. Like it's gone, it's not coming back, it has departed and never to be seen again.
But do you think tempus fugit or time flies is a negative connotation word, like a negative phrase?
Time flies?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm saying that it's neither positive nor negative.
But do you think the idea of it's negative?
No, because I think it's used in such a flippant manner when I hear the phrase time flies.
Okay, so I'm going to backtrack because I think we're not on the same track. I'm saying when you think about like the past, is that a negative thing to be like, oh, it's gone now? And that's like negative?
No, not particularly.
Okay.
Is it a negative for you?
No, I think sometimes one of the reasons I was thinking about this was something popped up in my memories the other day. And our kids were so little. It was just a really, really sweet time in our family's life. And it made me almost sad because I missed it. Like, oh, they were so little and we had such a good thing going. And I was sort of sad that it was gone. But typically I don't feel that way.
So you're saying we don't have a good thing going now?
We do. And maybe in 8 years, I'll look back and be like, oh, that was a really good time. But at that time, I knew it was a really special, sweet time. I knew it and I felt it and I still feel that way. If I could go back in time, I'd go back to that time because it was a really, really sweet time.
Interesting.
You don't think about it? You wouldn't go back to 8 years ago?
No, I don't think so. I don't particularly think that that is even possible. So therefore, perhaps I don't entertain that thought to begin with. But nonetheless, even if we could, I don't think I would, because the future is where we are headed.
Yeah. And it's a good time. I'm not trying to be negative right now. It's a good time right now. But my heart hurts for those moments. That was a time in our life where it was like every night we did dance parties with our kids in the living room. just for like a whole half hour to 45 minutes every night we danced. And it was just so much fun. And everything we did was so funny to them. And it just seemed easier. But I guess maybe at the time it didn't feel easier. Maybe I forget.
Well, that is probably something that is true for reminiscing about past experiences, is that you are going to typically remember the good times and not the bad times. Or even if you do remember times in general, you're going to remember the particular highlights and not the difficulties.
Right. And so we've talked about that before, nostalgia. But going back to this word about time flees or time flies, I thought it was appropriate for our 100th episode because the time has gone by super fast, I think.
That's true. I wonder if our listeners think the same.
It's been almost 2 years because we've done an episode every week. And in the beginning, we did a couple extra. So that's why it's a little sooner than 2 years.
That's true. We have some bonus episodes in there sprinkled in. Now, it is interesting to note when you search for time flees, Google tries to autocorrect it to time flies. But when you do search for time flees, it brings up that particular Latin phrase, tempus fugit. And it is a idiom in Latin that means time passes very quickly and irrevocably. So, yes. See, I think that does seem to be more of the emphasis with time flees versus than time flies, is because it is that passing of time that is irrevocable.
But that's not negative, right? Irrevocable just means you can't go back. When it's set, it's set.
Yeah, I suppose so.
But you think of irrevocable as negative.
I think of time fleeing and the nature of the irrevocability of it, that it's more, and it's like the way that it is. It has been set and there's no going back.
Mm-hmm. Which is true. I wonder how old our kids have to be before we show them. What's the movie?
Back to the Future?
Yeah. How old are
Did I
kids?
guess it?
You did guess it.
Oh, wow. I was not expecting that. I was just saying that as a joke.
Oh, yeah. I don't think they'd like it right now. I think they'd be bored pretty quickly through it. I wonder how age appropriate it is.
Yeah, probably need a few more years for the younger ones at least.
Yeah. Aside from that, I think you're right. Other than having a time traveling device, it is set. Every step you take, right? Like you walked out of the room. Okay, you can go back in the room, but not at the same moment, at the same time. Some things you can redo, but you're always redoing it.
That's true. And maybe that's the difference between flies and fleas in my mind, is flies is more a description of the passage of time, that it goes quickly. Whereas fleeing is it's gone, not necessarily to be recovered. So it's not necessarily a description of the speed at which it passes, but the fact that it passes never to be recovered again.
Okay, I can picture that. Yeah. Because flying, it's like more linear, like you're going straight forward. But fleeing, it's almost like you're looking back, like, uh-oh, I can't get back there. Keep running.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, I can picture that. So I think, again, it's super appropriate for our 100th episode because this has gone by so fast. But also, we spent the weekend on a vacation with our family, and it shocked me how grown up our kids are now.
That's true. We returned to Great Wolf Lodge, but it was a different Great Wolf Lodge.
Yes.
And we did not do the Magic Quest. Thank goodness.
No, we didn't. They wanted to bring their wands with them just in case. And we did forget them. It was an accident. But also, I think you were relieved, right?
I think I was relieved, yes, because I don't think would have worked, because maybe it would have done the very first round of things where things light up, but in actually doing the quest and moving through the levels and things, I'm sure we would have had to pay for that.
Yeah, I think so. So we went, and this was a really cool, once again, a flash deal. I love my sales. You were, as we talked about before, we moved, and you moved before us for your job. And me and the kids followed a little while later, a couple weeks later. And so this was a time that you were gone, and I saw this. So it was in the general area we're moving to. And it was a great 12-hour flash sale. And I couldn't get a hold of you. I knew you were sleeping already with the time change and yada, yada. So I just booked it. Our youngest one's birthday was this week. So I was like, this would be a great birthday gift for him since we won't have friends yet or a consistent schedule at our new home. Let's go to Great Wolf Lodge. So we tried this new one, and what'd you think?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, even in the short time frame of our previous visit, which was probably less than a year or so.
Yeah, just 6 months. It was back in October.
But yes, the kids were more mature and were able to do more of the things. Now, the Great Wolf Lodge was different, so that may have played a part. And also, perhaps their familiarity with Great Wolf Lodge in general allowed them to have a little bit more of freedom and autonomy when they were visiting there. But yes, it was, again, sort of an odd experience as a parent that your kids are going off and doing things on their own with each other and not needing your direct supervision the entire time.
Do you think that this lazy river was slower than the other one? Or was our youngest a better swimmer? Because last time I did get a little anxious in the lazy river if he didn't have a floaty thing, because he liked to just swim without a float and let the water push him. But it kept pulling him under last time, and so I refused to let him do that. Or this time he could do it, and it didn't pull him under.
Yeah, well, I think out of all of them, he's probably the one that has grown in height the most, so that could be something to do with it. And then I do think it was slower. It was a different layout completely. Actually, some of the ending of the slides sort of merged in with the lazy river, which was different.
Cool.
It was cool, but I think that actually detracted from the flow and the speed at which the lazy river circulated.
Okay, I see that. It was nice because, and it's smart because some of the rides you have to take a float up with you. So it makes sense that they're with the lazy river because they're all the same. If you get off the slide, you can just continue on the lazy river or get out and walk it up to the slides.
That's true.
It made sense, but I agree that I could see how it would slow down the flow.
Which was a completely different design than the previous lazy river because they had separate tubes for each thing. Where the lazy river tubes were clear and these were not.
Right.
Because they were shared with the slides.
Yeah. And it just made me think, because I had already had that moment earlier this week of seeing this photos from 8 years ago, family vacation, and seeing how little our kids were and just how carefree it seemed, which I know it wasn't because we had nap time scheduled and yada yada, right? It was not carefree because we'd wake up, go to breakfast, swim, come back and nap, then get up and swim more, and then come back and sleep. It was very scheduled. So calling it carefree isn't true. But when I see the photos and how sweet and innocent they were, and just us sitting there, having them climb on us and swim with us, and then reflecting on that, watching my kids race down the slides together as I just sit there, it's wow, this is different. And it went so quick.
That's true. Plus, we didn't have to worry about allergens or food sensitivities.
Yes, that was a big part of our past, which thank goodness is over. Our kids outgrew it, but that was a massive part of the first couple of years of parenting for us.
That's true.
Maybe we'll talk about that sometime and how difficult that was.
Maybe so. You, our listener, can let us know if you'd like to hear about milk sensitivities. So this particular Great Wolf Lodge did have the lazy river, and it did have various slides that used inner tubes that could be either single riders or double riders. And then it did seem to have relatively similar ones that were like the large inner tube that a group would do, anywhere from 2, 3, 4, or 5 riders in these particular ones. And those were some of the similarities.
Mm-hmm.
And you did even the one that was the 4-rider tube that had a very large drop in it.
I did more. Last time, I think I even said it on the pod, I only did one. I've developed such a fear of heights in the last decade. I don't know if it's becoming a mom or just getting older or what it is, but I never was a thrill seeker. But I was never scared to do things also. I would ride the roller coasters, never super excited about it, but never really scared either. In the last decade, that's changed. And so last time I only rode one. This time I told each kid they could choose one and I'd ride with them. And y'all chose the scariest one at first. And this was a moment I want to remember forever. My heart was literally beating out of my chest. I was so scared walking up those steps because I knew this was a scary one. I didn't want to do it. And I told one of my kids, like, oh, feel my heart is beating so fast. And he put his hand on my chest and then went on his. He's like, it's okay, I'll calm you down. And he just stood there with his hand on my chest and his chest and like just transferring his calmness, I guess, to me. It was really sweet. But it was intense and then it was okay. And then after that, I realized, okay, I can do this. It's not as bad as I thought. And I went on quite a few. I would have gone on more, but those stairs are pretty gnarly.
It was a lot of stairs. That is true.
If there was an elevator, I would have rode it a lot more.
Yes. And then the slides that you do not use any inner tubes were far less extreme. So they did not have the ones with like the near vertical drops or the trapdoor one that drops you into the slide. They did have some slides that were probably a little bit more catered to younger kids, but adults could do them as well, but they were far less extreme. But they did have some additional things that was different. And then the wave pool was the same. I completely forgot the wave pool, but they did have a wave pool. But one of the things that was different was they had a FlowRider, I think was the brand name, where you have like a boogie board and it shoots streams of water, or this basically one large stream of water at like a 45-degree angle ramp. And then you sort of ride on that particular ramp with the boogie board.
Yeah. So I didn't do it. I would feel like my swimsuit was not appropriate. I previously saw other moms or women do it and struggle, so I didn't try it. Had I changed my swimsuit, I would have. But you did it. How many times did you do it? I saw 2.
Yeah, at least 4 or 5 times, I think. Not every time that the kids did it, but nearly every time.
Our one kid got really good at it.
Yeah, he was doing very good by the end of it.
Yeah, so he's going to be a little surfer dude. He's got the longer hair and everything, so works well.
That's true. And I was surprised, like, we did it once and then they wanted to keep doing it. So,
because sometimes people wipe out on that thing and it's intense.
yeah, I don't think it's like super dangerous, but you could hurt yourself if you are wiping out and crashing. And there were some crashes that were quite exciting to watch, I suppose, but they did not get hurt.
Did you ever get hurt on it?
I think on one of them, I might have bruised my shin a little bit as I was like jumping into the angled slope. But other than that, it was non-issue.
Okay. Yeah, I saw 2 of yours, like I said, and yeah, you did really well. So you bruised a shin. I think we did get more injuries this time. I injured my back lifting because we spent the night, and there was a pull-out couch, and I was pulling it out and tweaked my back, and that wasn't fun last night. But it's okay. It's just really sore now. And then one of our kids got his hand banged between the flotation device and the steps getting off a slide. and he got a pretty big cut. I mean, they sent over the med team and they cleaned it up really well. It's not like it needed stitches or anything, but it did need a good cleaning and bandage. And I was proud of him because it hurt. And he was very brave and calm through the whole process.
That's true.
And they were very quick to respond. They noticed quickly. And so kudos to them for being very attentive and prepared.
That's true. I mean, that is one thing at both Great Wolf Lodge locations that was apparent is that their lifeguard staff and medical response team are very well trained with various methodology to ensure that everybody is safe and that there's no particular issues, and that if there are any minor injuries, that those are attended to quickly.
Yeah, I would say I would fully agree that I think Great Wolf Lodge, we've gone to 2 now, and I would say confidently that their lifeguards do a really good job. I mean, that was my job for a while, was monitoring lifeguards and training them and making sure they're doing their job. And so I do pay attention to that now. And they do a very excellent job. They take their training serious. I'd watch them watch the people, and they're not just checking out or just walking around.
That's true. Even when there is a mom that is in the shallow 2-foot water, that they will go check on her.
They will. Yeah. I'll tell real quick this story. I was telling Adam I was there watching this happen, that there was a mom and she was with her husband and her parents, or, the grandparents, and a baby. And so the mom kept dunking under the water and then popping up, right, to surprise the baby, and the baby would be surprised. So, but the way she was doing it, she would duck under and lift her hands, and it did look like the classic drowning position. Again, like 3 feet, not even 4 feet water. She had 3 adults around her. The concept of her drowning is kind of silly, but he called it, jumped in, and rescued her. And then they were so rude to him. And obviously we're just playing, yada, yada. But it showed every sign of a drowning person. And then they went right back to doing the game again. And I felt so bad for that lifeguard. The other lifeguards came over. He called it. Tons of people came running over while he went and rescued her. They gave him a towel as he went back to his post and patted him on the back and stuff. And you could just see his heart, him breathing heavy. It was serious for him. He was rescuing her. And good for him. And I felt so bad that they were so rude to him, because they should have at least been thankful. Thank you for paying attention, versus, what they said about obviously we're here, she's not drowning. So anyways, good for him. And I hope he gets kudos, or we should go online and give him, I think on there, can't you give people kudos or something like that? Congratulations.
I think so. I don't know if you have their name or whatever.
I should have, but I didn't. Anyways, I do feel confident in the Great Wolf Lodge. Not enough to be I'm going to leave my kids and walk away. Obviously, that's not their responsibility like that. But I would say I feel confident in their lifeguards.
That's true. So maybe we'll go to another Great Wolf Lodge in the future. We have 2 down, and I think, 11 more to go or something when you looked at the numbers? Something like that. We're going to check.
There are 23 Great Wolf Lodges. So
in the continental U.S.?
And Canada.
The one in Ontario, Canada. So 22
yes.
In the U.S.
But Niagara Falls, and I've always wanted to go there.
On the Canadian side.
Yes.
That is true.
Well, that's the part you want to see anyways, right? Don't people say that Niagara Falls is better on Canada's side?
Unless you go during COVID, because then you could only allow 2 people on the boat at a time.
Okay. We didn't live too far from there, relatively, at one point in our lives. We always talked about going and never did. We should have. And we should one day.
Well, maybe we will. And
have you been?
I've been, yes, at least twice.
Is it worth it?
Yeah, it would be worth it too. It'd be like the Grand Canyon. I think People really talk up the Grand Canyon, and it is really cool, and it's worth seeing once. And after that,
Thanks.
maybe not so much. So I sort of feel the same as Niagara. That yes, it's a very interesting and unique thing to go visit. But if you visit it once, it's not necessarily something that you need to revisit. I actually think that the CN Tower is more of an attraction than Niagara Falls.
Where's that?
What used to be the tallest building in the world decades ago.
And
It's
that's in
not even close anymore.
New York or what?
No, it's in the right there on the Canadian side of Niagara Falls.
Oh, never heard of it.
Yep.
Have you gone inside it? Like gone all up?
Yes, I think I've been inside it. I don't think I've been to like the very top of it because that you have to like pay like super amount of money to go up to, but you can go to like the observation deck that is significantly up on the top. But
Is it
not the
taller?
very top.
Is it taller than the Empire State Building?
Yes.
What about in Chicago? Like taller than that?
The Sears Tower, now renamed to something else. Yes,
Yeah.
taller than that.
Because again, we talked about my fear of heights. When we were in Chicago over summer, we talked about doing all that. And I was like, I can't do it. I think I'm not that scared if it's me, but with my kids, I get so scared.
Interesting. So that is our 100th episode, and time flees. And if you do have a suggestion for a future topic, you can always let us know in a comment, text message, or email. And if you did like this episode, it is helpful for you to share it with just one other person so that they can enjoy it as well.
Well, I'm just trying to do the math because 100 episodes, one person shares per episode. I'm really bad at, what's it called?
Exponential growth.
Exponential growth. Like that. Yeah, that would be pretty exponential.
Indeed. So from your friends at I Hate Talking, until next time, remember, it is only through talking that we begin the journey to understanding.